So far this week, we have covered the importance of building trust and rigorously defending that culture once you have built it via a circle of safety. The next step in our Building Great Teams journey covers this topic also, but provides us with actionable insight in how to foster cross-collaboration across functions. Whether it's the finance and HR team or the service and kitchen teams, how we collaborate can be the difference between life and death, as we will find out today from General McChrystal. Leadership, it's kind of like a recipe, right? You've got to have the right ingredients, but how you mix them really determines how it all turns out. Now, traditional hierarchies, they've been the main ingredient in leadership for ages. Defined roles, clear chains of command. On paper, it sounds solid, but the reality is, in today's fast, complex world, these rigid structures can sometimes feel like trying to bake with ingredients from 5 years ago. Stale and kinda out of sync. Think about it. When organizations operate like a tall ladder, each rung representing a level of authority, what happens? Every decision, every move has to climb up and down that ladder. It's slow, it's clunky, and by the time action is taken, well, it might already be too late. Picture this in the middle of a Friday dinner rush at a busy restaurant. If your sous chef has to get approval for every tiny change during service, those tables are waiting forever, and that's just not going to fly, is it? This is exactly what General Stanley McChrystal observed during his time in the military. He argues that the old school hierarchical model doesn't hold up when you're facing rapid, unpredictable challenges. Instead, what he proposes is a shift, decentralized decision-making. Let me break that down for you. Decentralization isn't about chaos or a free-for-all, not at all. It's about empowering your team, giving them the tools and the trust to make decisions on the fly without waiting for the big boss to sign off on every detail. And here's where it gets practical. To really pull this off, you need a couple of things. First, mission clarity. Everyone on the team needs to understand what success looks like for the organization, whether it's nailing consistency or going above and beyond for customer service. If your team doesn't know the why behind their work, how can they make the right decisions? Secondly, you set clear boundaries. It's like letting your servers know they can comp dessert for a guest who had a delay, but maybe not an entire meal. When boundaries are defined, autonomy doesn't turn into anarchy. So when you peel back the old hierarchical layers and embrace decentralized leadership, you're not just managing, you're enabling. You're letting your people carry the mission forward in real, tangible ways. And that, honestly, is where things start to move quickly, creatively, and most importantly, effectively. All right, so let's dive into this idea of shared consciousness. It might sound like a buzzword, but honestly, it's something every successful team needs, and most don't even realize they're missing it. Shared consciousness is about making sure everyone is on the same page, not just about what they're doing, but why they're doing it, and how it all connects to the bigger picture. Picture this. You're running a hotel, and the front desk team doesn't know that maintenance is swamped because of a burst pipe. Now, a guest calls down frustrated about a leaky faucet, and what happens? Your front desk gives them the standard, someone will be up shortly, not knowing that's not possible right now. The result? Confusion, delays, unhappy guests, and honestly, a headache for everyone involved. But if there's shared consciousness, if everyone knows the situation and what's being prioritized, those missteps don't happen. The front desk can manage expectations up front, and guests feel like They're being listened to instead of brushed off. McChrystal's big takeaway on this is transparency. It's kind of like opening up a playbook so that every team member, no matter their role, has access to the same information. He talks about how in the military they began using daily sync calls that brought together leaders from across different units. The idea to share what's happening, not in a top-down lecture-y way, but to pool insights from all angles. And look, this applies to any industry. Say you're running a team in a high-end restaurant, holding quick, focused huddles before service to share updates. What's out of stock? Which regulars are coming in? Any major VIPs? Helps everyone feel connected and prepared. It's not about micromanaging. It's about creating a common operating picture so teams can work together smarter, not harder. The real genius of shared consciousness is how it accelerates agility. When people have the whole picture, they can adjust on the fly, collaborating seamlessly because they're all working with the same information, the same priorities, and the same sense of purpose. McChrystal proves that even in life or death environments, this approach works. And if it can work there, it can sure as heck work in our day-to-day operations. So let's talk about trust. It's not exactly groundbreaking to say that trust matters for teams, right? I mean, most of us sort of take it for granted, but McChrystal flips the script here. He shows us that trust isn't just a nice to have. It's a cornerstone for any team that wants to thrive under pressure. Here's the thing. Trust doesn't just magically appear. It's built, and it's built through consistency. McChrystal points out that teams who trust each other don't just work together better. They move faster, make smarter decisions, and adapt to the unexpected without falling apart. This is where the magic happens, when trust within and between teams turns into a competitive advantage. But how do you actually build that trust? You start with shared success. When one team shines, everyone needs to feel like it's a win, not just for that group, but for the whole organization. It's about breaking down silos and celebrating that interconnectedness. Like a kitchen team high-fiving the waitstaff after a flawlessly executed dinner rush. It's a small thing, but those moments of collective pride build bonds that go deeper than just doing your job. Then there's communication. I don't just mean sending more emails or stacking meetings on top of meetings. Real communication is open, frequent, and honest. It's sharing both the highs and the lows. Success stories, but also the lessons learned when things go sideways. McChrystal's teams thrived on this kind of openness because it removed the guesswork. It wasn't about being in the dark. It was about being in the loop. And honestly, trust has a lot to do with leadership behaviors too. If you're the leader, you set the tone. Are you consistent, reliable? Do you follow through on what you say? Because if you don't, your team won't either. Trust flows from the top down, but it also works sideways across teams who need each other to achieve that broader mission. The practical side of this, well, start by creating shared goals. Make it clear how every team's efforts contribute to the bigger picture. Next, build accountability into your process. That means calling out the wins, but also addressing the misses without pointing fingers. Trust grows when people know they can rely on each other to admit when they've hit a snag, and also to help them get back on track. So here's the takeaway. When teams trust each other, really trust each other, they don't just survive complexity, they thrive in it. And that's not just some lofty ideal, that's something every one of us can work toward, no matter what industry we're in. And on that note, we'll wrap up today's episode. That's all for now. But remember, adaptability and trust are at the heart of great leadership. I hope you'll take these lessons and run with them. Until next time, this is Wesley Williams reminding you to lead well and stay connected. Take care.